power of the web is in its universality. Access by everyone, regardless of disability, is an essential aspect. This was declared by Tim Berners-Lee, father of the web. But just how accessible is the web? In a world that is primarily built for the able-bodied, what role can and does technology play as an enabler, as a transformer of what it means to be disabled in our wired society? In 2012, there were estimated 3.8 million disabled adults in Canada. This represents 13.7% of the adult population. Several years ago, I became part of that statistic for a short period of time, when a virus rendered one side of my body partially disabled. To my good fortune, the disabling effects of the virus lasted only 3 weeks, but what remained was a broader perspective on how the world in which we live is constructed to service those who are physically challenged. It is through this lens, and from a position of social constructionism and critical theory pedagogy, that I'll examine the role of technology in shaping agency and identity of disabled persons in today's wired society. In a 2012 article for Open College's website, Adrianus Pinantoan speaks to the benefit of technology for persons with disabilities. Pinantoan says, "Over the past 10 years, technology has created a revolution in possibilities for disabled learners. It is ending the isolation and limited opportunities disabled students have long faced. Computer programs make it easier for disabled students to access material, communicate their ideas and work, and participate in educational experiences." The technology Pinantoan is speaking of is assistive technology, which was defined by the United States Assistive Technology Act of 1998 as any product, device, or equipment, whether acquired commercially, modified, or customized, that is used to maintain, increase, or improve the functional capabilities of individuals with disabilities. As this University of Washington video shows, assistive technology learning for these students has impacted their ability and has given them a new sense of identity and self-confidence.
I use a screen enlarger, which allows me to see everything on the computer screen that a normal person would see with regular type on the computer.
The lab is well equipped with adaptive technology. Tours and demonstrations can be arranged by appointment.
Really, it helps me out a lot on the internet. I have voice output that reads everything that comes up on the screen, on the computer screen. So I'm able to access anything that I want to on the computer. And it's really helped me out a lot.
I really like using the internet because it's easier to communicate with people rather than using the telephone. I can read it instead of listening, and it's easier for me to read it than to hear.
Yeah, the internet is helpful. It allows me to communicate more easily because of my voice. It allows me to say more and express myself more easily.
There is a wide range of computer-related assistive technologies, also called adaptive technologies, that can help disabled people access information and services that may otherwise be inaccessible to them. There is little argument that technological literacy can help prepare students for success in life, and for people with disabilities, the benefits of technology may be even greater. Research has shown that access to and use of technology can help to maximize independence, productivity, and participation in adulthood, all vital factors that contribute to self-efficacy and attainment of goals. Unfortunately, Canada has been rather late to the table when it comes to accessibility legislation. Ontario introduced Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act in 2005, but Canada's first national accessibility law is just now in the works. Compare that with the United States, that has had an Americans with Disabilities Act since 1990. Without legislation which can mandate a universal design approach to technology products and services, many disabled people will not be able to make full use of the World Wide Web due to inaccessible features. Consideration in web design for accessibility plays a large part in the experience a person with disabilities will have when using the internet. The W3C has clear accessibility guidelines for web designers to follow, which provide specifications that would increase functionality for assistive technology devices, such as screen readers, to operate efficiently. With 54% of adults living with a disability accessing the internet regularly, it is disheartening to learn that 98% of websites fail to meet the W3C's International Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. This issue is particularly problematic for media-rich websites, which have provided many web users with an improved user experience, whilst reducing the usability and inclusiveness of the web for disabled persons. As a result, technology can often become a barrier rather than an entry point to the information highway for many disabled people. Despite these challenges, disabled users of the internet who are able to conquer the challenges of access have discovered a powerful new tool for self-actualization and digital agency through the use of social media technologies. According to Bowker and Tuffin, the visual anonymity afforded by computer-mediated interaction neutralizes the physical differences which have such a profound effect on face-to-face interactions for people with disabilities. The online medium's capacity to conceal physical difference provides opportunities for experiencing alternate subjectivities outside of the stigma often associated with being disabled. And so, for a disabled person, the emergence of social media technologies have seemingly opened a new doorway to freedom and a means to pursue self-actualization within a virtual social ecosystem that does not present the same barriers as the physical environment. Whilst many barriers to access remain, one can see progress is being made, and through the development of new technological structures have emerged new narratives for the disabled person to become authors of their own identity. Perhaps then, this is the beginning of the realization of what Tim Berners-Lee described as the all-encompassing universal web.